Joining us now, Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch. Tom, we want to talk about your lawsuit here about sanctuary cities in California, but I got to get your reaction to the Inspector General's report on James Comey. What do you say?
Well, Inspector General's reports are often cover-ups and exposés at the same time. So with that in mind, it's pretty extraordinary they excoriated Mr. Comey as they did, even referring him for a criminal prosecution that the Justice Department outrageously declined to pursue.
But we just had Joe DeGeneva on. He said, listen, there's still another report about the abuse of the FISA warrant court. And he said that his contacts tell him that the finding will be that all 4 FISA warrants were obtained illegally. That would be huge, wouldn't it?
It sure would. The question is anyone going to be prosecuted for abusing power? And if they can't prosecute Comey after he's repeatedly lying or withholding information to investigators and to Congress, stealing FBI files, improperly sharing classified information with his lawyers, playing games about that, it's hard to believe that they would make a more complex prosecution. They would push a more complex prosecution alleging that he knew or should have known that the FISA warrants he was signing were fraudulent.
Well, we'll watch that space.
What do you think? What do you think?
What do I'm an optimist. I'm an eternal optimist, Tom, and I think that the rule of law will prevail, especially because, listen, when you abuse the FISA courts that were set up for national security purposes and are supposed to have safeguards to protect the civil rights of an individual citizen, and you've got Carter Page, an innocent American who has never had any charge against him, a graduate of the Naval Academy, a veteran of the United States Navy, and they abused his rights. I've got to think that a court is going to take that seriously. And by the way, the judges in the FISA courts and Supreme Court Justice Roberts should step up and say, no, not in my court system, not in the judiciary. We're going to do something about this.
Well, we'll see. I'm an optimist too, Larry, but that's why I'm always outraged.
You're a cynical optimist. All right. Hey, listen, we got to talk about this lawsuit against Santa Clara County. Can you stay with us? Because we joined you a little late there. Can you stick with us?
Sure.
Good.
Sure.
All right. We continue with Tom Fitton next, though, to talk about this lawsuit against Santa Clara County and their completely outrageous and illegal sanctuary policies and what may the ripple effect be across the entire Golden State. Tom Fitton stays with us here on The Larry O'Connor Show. Whenever I talk about these sanctuary city policies and how it makes our communities less safe, people always call in and they say, why can't we sue? Why can't we bring a case against the government, the local government, for defying federal law, allowing criminals to walk amongst us? Their job is to keep the streets safe. They are willfully ignoring those laws. Why can't you sue? Well, Judicial Watch is suing Santa Clara. Tom Fitton is the president of Judicial Watch, and he joins us now. You just filed this lawsuit yesterday. Talk to me about this, the terms of this suit, Santa Clara County.
Well, it's a taxpayer lawsuit. Taxpayers in California have the right to sue government officials when they spend money in violation of the law. That's why it's called taxpayer standing. So we have a lawsuit on behalf of taxpayers in Santa Clara County, which is San Jose, over their sanctuary policy that currently, it was broader, but now currently requires a judicial arrest warrant, a made-up term, in order to detain anyone, meaning specifically a criminal alien they have in their custody. So if the feds want a criminal alien detained, they have to come up with some type of judicial arrest warrant, which isn't required under federal law. Prior to that, they were basically ignoring all ICE detainers, including 6 requests for one particular illegal alien who, after he was released and supposedly on probation, went on to allegedly murder a resident inside her home, Bambi Larson, who you may have heard about out there in California.
Oh, yes, we talked about it quite a bit here. And let's be clear.
And L.A. has a similar policy. So this guy had run-ins both in L.A. and in Santa Clara, and the government. It's one thing when you release a criminal because they serve their sentence or they're on probation and commit a crime, but to release someone who then ought to be deported because of those crimes and protect them, to me, is an abomination onto the law.
Well, and Tom Fitton, let's just be clear on what the law states here, because and as you know, this is a hot topic right now where you and I both live in Montgomery County, Maryland, where there have been a string of horrendous sexual assaults, all perpetrated allegedly by illegal aliens, where they have this same policy there. And we hear the same rhetoric from the elected officials there, elected officials in California and Los Angeles and up in Santa Clara County, where they say, listen, This is the Constitution. The Fourth Amendment says we can't hold anybody if we don't have probable cause and if we don't have any sort of judicial warrant. Can you explain to me how this ICE detainer operates here and how that is actually not the case, that this is a violation of the Constitution to hold someone 48 hours pending the immigration officials?
Yeah, I mean, it's a time issue. The question is, how long can they hold someone pursuant to an ICE request? Or at least that's my understanding as a non-lawyer, Larry, I'll warn you. So the idea that you can't either give notice to the government that you're going to release them or hold them for a short period of time, giving the ICE a chance to come in, take a look-see, see what they want to do, and then turn custody over to them. That's not what they're doing. They're thwarting the rule of law here. It's an illegal local regulation of immigration. It's preempted by federal law. And basically, they are trying to run the federal government and federal immigration law from their own localities through these sanctuary policies, these radical leftists who promote these policies in major jurisdictions like Santa Clara, San Jose, Los Angeles, Montgomery County, Maryland, as you point out. Our nation's capital has a similar sanctuary policy.
And so, and again, back to your lawsuit, or Judicial Watch's lawsuit, more accurately, you're suing basically on behalf of the taxpayers, saying the elected officials here are basically spending money and putting in place laws that are what, illegal?
That's right. The policy is illegal, and no money should be spent to enforce it. We have a similar lawsuit against San Francisco Sheriff's Department. And that lawsuit's supposed to go to trial early next year. So we're taking a strong stand for the rule of law on at least on these immigration issues in California, in addition to our election integrity work out there. We haven't abandoned you.
We appreciate that. California feels abandoned sometimes, Tom Fitton. So between you and I, we're going to keep reminding them that someone's looking out for them. Thank you, sir. Always good to talk to you.
You're welcome.
That is Tom Fitton, Judicial Watch, and hopefully that will have a ripple effect. The idea that our elected officials can use our tax dollars to pass ordinances and laws and statutes that specifically prohibit law enforcement from communicating with federal law enforcement when it comes to a violation of immigration law is despicable, disgusting, and there's only one net result there. And that is, it will allow criminals to stay on the streets, to continue to break the law. That's the only net result of these sanctuary policies. There is no other benefit. Except for gaining headlines because you're sticking up your middle finger to Donald Trump. See, if you're a Democrat running a city, a county, or the state of California, and you get headlines and invited on all the TV talk shows because you've boldly defied Trump's immigration policies, well, that's a benefit. You get that. Congratulations. Congratulations, Mayor Garcetti. Congratulations, Los Angeles. Congratulations, Gavin Newsom. Congratulations, county officials in Santa Clara County. You were able to get a whole bunch of glowing press and great applause from the ACLU and from all of the interest groups that look out for the open borders crowd and illegal aliens. You get all those benefits and all those kudos. And meanwhile, the actual direct result of your policies is that criminals walk free. Criminals who aren't even supposed to be in this country walk free so that they can break the law again, so they can rape again, so that they can murder again. And it's the exact opposite of why you elect somebody into public office. These sanctuary laws are going away. They will go away, and we will stop them. The law is not on their side. And I don't think the people are on their side. Larry O'Connor Show, KABC.